In Iran, two explosions occurred Wednesday on road and outside a mosque near the cemetery where General Qasem Soleimani is buried, and the city of Kerman, leaving dozens dead and wounded, local media report. In Palestine, dozens of civilians, including children and women, were killed and injured early Wednesday morning as Israeli occupation forces continue shelling several areas of the Gaza Strip, concentrated in the center and south. Russian anti-aircraft defense shoots down 9 Ukrainian air targets near the city of Belgorod amid Kiev continue attacks against Russian territory. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Irma Shelton from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Venezuela President Nicolás Maduro denounced that Guyana's current actions are the same as those of the former British Guyana. The Venezuelan head of state said that the country is presently in a difficult situation regarding the territorial controversy with Guyana over the Essequibo due to the presence a few days ago of a British military ship in the waters yet under dispute. Maduro affirmed that his Guyanese counterpart, Mohammed Irfan Ali, is behaving as London's enclave by accepting that one of its warships gets near Venezuelan coast to threaten Caracas. The Bolivarian president reiterated that Venezuela has the military power to respond to any threat from any aggressing country.
Guyana is acting as a British Guyana, allowing that a warship goes to its coast and from its coast threatens Venezuela.
In Argentina, the Association of States Workers denounced a second wave of layoffs and called for one extraordinary meeting on Tuesday. The Association of States Workers, ATA, denounced that the government of Javier Milei started a second wave of layoffs in the state. The union organization detailed that 550 layoffs were added to 7,000 dismissed last week. In this context, they called for this afternoon an extraordinary meeting to evaluate measures against the adjustment in the public sector. The meeting will start at 4 p.m. local time in Buenos Aires, where the union will analyze complaints about countries of layoff, sanctions, and compulsory transfers, besides considering the call made by the Central Workers Union. The government of Argentina suspended the access to credits for pensioners and retirees granted through the financing program of the National Social Security Administration. The decision came into effect this Tuesday because of being justified by the government with the excuse of safeguarding the profitability of the Sustainability Guarantee Fund. Likewise, the suspension of these benefits was published in the official Gazette, and it is the first resolution issued by the National Social Security Administrator. Now let's take a short break, but remember, you can join us on TikTok at the TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Iran, two explosions occurred Wednesday on a road and outside of mosque near the cemetery where General Qasem Soleimani is buried in the city of Kerman, leaving dozens dead and wounded, local media report. The Emergency Ministry estimates that so far 103 people were killed and 140 injured in the explosions, reports IRNA agency. The first explosion occurred 700 meters from Soleimani's tomb, on the second one and kilometers from the shrine. People have already been evacuated from the site, and law enforcement officials are working to determine the cause of the detonations. Meanwhile, local authorities told IRNA that these were terrorist attacks. A source familiar with the matters also revealed to the media that initial investigation shows that they were two bombs on the road where the explosions took place, and the terrorists detonated them by remote control, according to the agency. Contrary to some rumors, this attack was not a suicide bombing. The tragedy occurred on the day of the anniversary of the assassination of the important Iranian military officers committed 4 years ago by the United States at Baghdad International Airport. In Palestine, dozens of civilians, including children and women, were killed and injured early Wednesday morning as Israeli occupation forces continue shelling several areas of the Gaza Strip, concentrated in the centers and south of the country. The Israeli destruction machine continues to wage its aggression and war against the Gaza Strip for 89 consecutive days. The death toll in the Gaza Strip since the beginning of the aggression until yesterday evening amounted to more than 22,000, most of them women and children, while the number of wounded exceeded 57,000 and thousands are still missing. Today, once the Israeli Air Force destroyed civilian infrastructure in Nuseirat camp. Recently, the bodies of 4 civilian women were recovered in Khan Yunis after Red Crescent teams were able to enter Hama town. The Occupation Air Force launched a series of violent attacks of Nuseirat, Buresh, and Maghazi camps in the central Gaza Strip, as well as Al-Masara, Kaisan, Al-Natir, and Man neighborhoods in Khan Yunis city. Demonstrators took to the streets in the West Bank city and Ramallah on Tuesday following the death of senior Hamas official Saleh Arouri. The crowd demanded revenge for Arouri's assassination, chanting slogans and calling on Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, Secretary General of Lebanon's Hezbollah, to take action. The explosion in Beirut killed Arouri and 3 other officials. This blast followed more than 2 months of heavy shooting exchanges between Israeli troops and Hezbollah members along the southern border of Lebanon. Arouri was one of the founders of the military wing of Hamas, which had led the group's presence in the West Bank.
As we always say, one leader is going, more leaders is coming. So this is not the end, and if they killed one of the leaders, more leaders and more Palestinians will take the flag and will continue the fighting against this occupation, and Palestine will be free, whatever they did, whatever they done.
In Japan, the death toll rose to 57 following the 7.6 magnitude earthquake that struck the West Coast on January the 1st. Authorities report that most of the victims were warned that the continuous aftershocks of the earthquake are hampering rescue efforts, making it difficult to rescue at least 14 people who remain trapped under the rubble in the city. Around 1,000 Japanese security forces are participating in the rescue operations, and more than 46,000 people were evacuated to Ishikawa and Toyama prefectures. French authorities issue red alert after floods caused by heavy rains. Officials indicate that more than 50 people have been displaced from their homes due to rainfall. They also detail that the northern and western areas of the country are the most affected by the rains. In this context, the Meteorological Service forecasts that the rains will intensify during the next few days, while local authorities urge the population to maintain the necessary safety measures. So far, no deaths or injuries have been reported.
And now all these people in the first houses have been taken to the town hall, put in a warm place, to have a toilet, and then to eat lunch. And now the water is still rising, so we're just waiting. There's not much left to do. We've already experienced it over the last few days. And yesterday we had a forestate of what was to come. We were flooded, but houses were barely spared. Today that's not the case. And it's rising more dangerously than usual. And we can see that the more it comes, the more the water surges, and the more intense they are.
In the United Kingdom, Storm Hank leaves several weather warnings after heavy flooding in the southeast of the country. The Met Office issued a yellow wind warning for the towns of Kent, East, West Sussex, and Surrey, while a rain warning remains in effect for most of East and West Sussex. The office also noted that the Cockmere and Bull rivers were at their high levels and are expected to continue to rise. Authorities urge the population to maintain the corresponding safety measures due to the increase in rainfall. We have a second short break coming up, but before, we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code and screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news cover of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The government of France announced the closure until further notice of its embassy in Niger from diplomatic reasons following the coup d'etat that overthrew former President Mohamed Bazoum. The Foreign Ministry indicated that the activities of the embassy in Niamey will be carried out from now on from Paris. The Foreign Ministry also assured that it would maintain its ties with non-governmental organizations working in the humanitarian field, which would continue to finance. For its part, Paris accused the Nigerian military junta in making it impossible to maintain the diplomatic mission while in a blockade around the embassy of restrictions on personnel, describing the acts as a clear violation of the Vienna Convention and diplomatic relations. The Russian Army Force has confirmed that they attacked with precision weapons on Tuesday several Ukrainian military industry plants engaged in the production and repair of missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles. According to a statement by the Defense Ministry, the targets of the attacks were in around the city of Kiev, and added that several storage sites for missiles, artillery, and aviation ammunition supplied to Ukraine by Western countries were also attacked. The Ukrainian side reported that the detonations were heard both in Kiev and the cities of Kharkov, Vinnytsia, and Kirovograd. Around noon, Ukraine reportedly launched response attacks against the Russian province of Belgorod. The governor of Russian city of Belgorod, Vyacheslav Gladkov, said the Russian anti-aircraft defense shot down 9 air targets near the city of Tuesday, while the Russian Defense Ministry revealed that the attempted Ukrainian attack was carried out with 2 Toshka-U missiles and 7 Olaf missiles. According to preliminary data, no injuries were reported. However, the Belgorod governor informed that some houses and a car had been damaged in the city. The operational service are assessing the consequence of the round. The China-Laos Railway landmark project connecting Kinmen with the Laos capital city of Vientiane began operation on December the 3rd, 2021. This railway is a flagship project linking China's Belt and Road Initiative with Laos' strategy of transforming itself from a landlocked to a land-linked country. Operation of China's Laos Railway has boosted global demand for Laos goods like iron, tapioca, and rubber, which are first transported into China and then sent to European and Central Asian countries on Chinese-European cross-border trains and through the country's new Western Land Sea corridor. Chinese goods like electromechanical products and high-tech products are introduced into Southeastern Asian countries through the China's Laos railways as well. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced on Tuesday that Turkish export in 2023 hit a record height of 250.8 billion, sticking up of 0.6% from the previous year. According to the president, the figure surpassed the medium-term program's target of 255 billion. Besides, the export to imports coverage ratio gained 0.8 percentage points from the previous year to reach 70.7% on 2023. The country's foreign trade deficit narrowed 3.2% year-on-year in 2023. As of October, Turkey's annual service exports also reached a historical height of 99.3 billion, and Erdogan said that Turkey aims to boost its goods and service exports in 2024 to over 375 billion. And we have come to the end of this new brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I am Irma Shelton. Thank you for watching us.